Welcome back to Cary, North Carolina, where the treasure is $1 million and the map gets more dangerous with every turn. We welcome you to Field 2 here from Wake Med Soccer Park in this contest between Hernandez United and Crew FC. Hernandez United wearing the red, white, and blue looking kits, mainly in the white. Crew FC wearing the black. The soccer gets sharper, the tackles arrive with bad intentions, and every goal suddenly feels like it should come with its own financial advisor. Round of 16 is underway. My name's Christian Filliman, known to my friends as Philly, and this is day 4. Before we really get this party started, let's take a look at the TST rules. 2 18-minute halves, no offside, no slide tackling, no throw-ins. Subs can come on frequently, and more importantly, no games end in a tie. The dimensions of the field, 65 by 45 yards, with a 6.5 feet high goal, 18.5 feet wide. Taking a look at your starters. First for Crew, in between the sticks, Edgar Perez, Mauricio Reyna, Jordi Gomez, Luis Garcia, as on the attack, defensively broken up by Crew. Luis Garcia, Faoud El Amrani, Mark Palaz, and Mauro Zarate, who also happens to be our player to watch. On the other end, as Hernandez United sets back up defensively, their keeper, Jean Cobb Ramirez, Luis Sanchez, Jaime Romero, Luis Perez, Roman Ramirez, Chad Porch, and Leonardo Espinosa. Crew FC, an esports group founded in 2020 and co-owned by Messi, one of Latin America's most recognizable game apps. Sergio Aguero has the leadership. He was going to play, but he got hurt. But this is part of Lionel Messi's long-term vision, and this is a team that competes in the Kings League. Kings League recently started the same year as the TST in 2023, has grown exponentially, and they have brought 232 players to Cary, North Carolina across multiple teams. Crew FC being one of them. Obviously, there's the Kings League All-Stars. For Hernandez United, for those unaware, this could potentially be one of the teams to beat at TST. Based out of Richmond, Virginia, it is the conglomeration of a partnership of 2 construction businesses. The name comes from the last name of a close family member to the owners. And it is also important to note that 6 of the players on Hernandez United are former La Bombonera champs from 2024. For Hernandez United, they finished first in Group B, going undefeated, 3-0, with 13 goals for and 14 goals allowed. They beat La Mexicana Express by a score of 4-1. They rolled right through Pumas, who just recently won on this pitch earlier today against Soccer Central. They beat Piece of Cake by a whopping 7-2, and in the round of 32, they beat Dueling for Lincoln 4-2. For Crew, on the other hand, they finished in second place in Group C, with a 2-1 record, 9 goals for, 9 goals allowed. The only game that they lost was to Kings League All-Stars that has taken this tournament by storm, not by surprise, not looking to participate, but by looking to take over. Crew defeated Dark Horse by a score of 4-2, lost to Kings League 4-0, defeated City Soccer, and find their way here into the round of 16 by way of defeating Rangers FC 2-1. A lot of the teams that have come and descended upon Cary, North Carolina are part of that Talacha culture, that underground soccer scene, where so many players have made a lifetime and a career competing in these cash prize tournament. But Hernandez United takes a more unique approach, whereas you have a team like Pumas de Alabama that features a lot of the Talacha players that compete in Kings League and the MASL, Football Rapido, other cash prize tournaments, mainly a Mexican contingent, whereas this version, Hernandez United, has a diverse group of people, whether it be Chad Porch, who has competed in TST, or Brandon Escoto, nicknamed Churas. This is a team that is doing the Talacha in a different way than most of the TST teams are doing. And what a huge result it would be if they could pour one over into the ever-so-popular Crew FC. As stated, Crew FC does compete in the Kings League tournament. And a couple of surprises. We had Podba Funkball Club just the other day was defeated So one of the big Kings League teams are done, but it's the Kings League All-Stars that seem to be the team to beat. And for Crew FC, their only loss did come on the hands of Kings League All-Stars. And with so many Kings League players, a lot of people here in the United States are just getting their taste as to what Kings League is. A lot of the players that have competed in this tournament have featured mainly from the Major Arena Soccer League, as every tournament winner thus far has been part of the MASL contingent. 2023 with Newtown Pride, 24 with La Bombonera, which we see a lot of players from Hernandez United on, and 2025 Bumpy Pitch FC. But with Bumpy Pitch getting defeated by Quick Goal yesterday by a score of 5-0, there will be a new tournament champ. And Bumpy Pitch will not defend. Hernandez United looking to build out of the back, as that is going to come off of number 16 for Crew, Federico Friere, 35-year-old from Argentina, been pro since 2010. He's played all throughout Argentina and Peru. One cap in Italy as well. What's interesting about number 16 on Crew is, I'll tell you about that in just a second, it's the turnaround from Hernandez United. The shot goes right into the side netting. Promising build-up, and the first real threatening attempt from either side. Last thought on number 16 for Crew, Federico. He's a co-founder of Diabetes in Motion. He's a player that has type 1 diabetes and wants to do something about that, which I find absolutely commendable and respectable. We're 7 minutes in to the half. Both teams looking to break the deadlock as the ball bounces out of play, and it's going to go towards Hernandez. Now, a lot of the players on Hernandez United do play football rapido, have played in the MASL, and as stated, 6 former La Bombonera players. That pass comes in at number 24, Jaime Romero. Competed in the Major Arena Soccer League with the Chihuahua Savage, a team that absolutely rampaged their way throughout the course of the professional arena leagues, winning back-to-back-to-back MASL titles, Jaime Romero being a big part of that. In the midfield, as that pass comes in to Luis Sanchez, Luisinho. Back over to Jaime Romero. Progressed up forward. And that's going to be poked through. Excellent defense by number 14, Jordi Gomez on Crew FC. Jordi Gomez had his youth career at Barcelona. Had 59 games played between Barcelona B and C. The shot fired into the box. Saved. Ball is loose momentarily. Crew trying to clean it up. And it is a goal. Hernandez United looking for the goal. Crew FC looking for a foul. And right out of the gates, Hernandez United, with something to show for the effort they put in on their attack. The scoreboard is lit, and the goal scored by number 8, Ramon Ramirez. Ramirez, one of those 6 players that won here at TST a couple of years ago with La Bombonera. Also tasted success with the Chihuahua Savage, team you're going to hear an awful lot about because there's a lot of players from that team. Now, La Bombonera, despite the success they had in 2024, a lot of spin-offs that came as a result of that team. Hernandez United, you could argue that potentially is a spin-off. Pumas de Alabama, several players from there as well. Now, had that La Bombonera team get sprayed and stuck together, what's to say that they couldn't have come back and repeat last year? So an excellent start for the Crew based out of Richmond, Virginia. Although I can tell you, knowing a lot of these players myself personally, not many of them do reside in Virginia. Crew FC now with their backs to the wall early on here as we're approaching the 10-minute mark here in the first half. The only threatening opportunities have come by way of the red, white, and blue of Hernandez United. Crew FC relatively successful here in this tournament as there's a foul rolling over on the pitch is Campari. But he's going to quickly get back on his feet. So much on the line for both of these teams. Hernandez United as a collective unit have gone all throughout the Talacha scene, winning cash prize tournament after cash prize tournament. But the one they have their sights and eyes on clearly is this $1 million prize at the end of this TST rainbow. Crew FC now with an opportunity to take their first shot as the field is mainly favored Hernandez United in possession. Crew FC have no shots, also no shots on target. And here a set piece, free kick from a dangerous spot. 10 yards is the space required as the official is going to move the positioning of the ball and is going to have a talking to with Mauro Zarate, our player to watch on Crew. Mauro has had a legendary career playing all over Europe. Free kick opportunity coming up here for Crew as that one takes a deflection off of Hernandez United and a set-piece opportunity as Fouad El Amrani takes the corner. Quick play into Zarate. Wins the corner once again. Zarate, who played with Lazio, played with Inter Milan, West Ham, Queen's Park Rangers, Fiorentina, Watford, Boca Juniors. It's a man who's played for a lot of massive clubs that if you are or aren't a fanatic of the beautiful game, no question you would have heard of all of these names. Also played with Argentina's U20. Many West Ham fans will remember that incredible goal that Zarate had in the London Derby against Arsenal, who are currently playing in the Champions League final against PSG. And from what last we saw, it was Arsenal that was leading PSG by a score of 1-0. So possession changes hands here in the 12th minute. In a game that has been thus far surprisingly dominated by Hernandez United. They have taken this tournament by storm and have made things very entertaining. And what I can tell you in the stands from our perspective, they brought in a lot of fans. Sergio Aguero, who essentially runs Crew and should have played had he not sustained an injury, garners a lot of attention and brings in a lot of support. But in the case of fan domination, it is Hernandez United that takes center stage with the support they have in the stands. As goalkeeper Jean-Claude Ramirez weighing his options. He too was part of that La Bombonera winning team. And also has a different set of skills. Playing beach soccer with the Mexican national team. As many of you who have run or trained on sand know, playing on the beach is tough. So Ramirez does have some strong legs and some excellent footwork. He too has played in Kings League with Raniza FC and, of course, with Crew. Which is interesting, going up against a team that he played for. If there's anybody that knows about the opposition, it's the keeper. As Hernandez United confidently moves it across the midfield to the backfield, and foul sustained right around the midfield. A quick play in. They have only conceded 4 goals in the 4 games that they have played in. At least in the group stage. Dueling for Lincoln gave them a run for their money. Now Crew FC finally with some possession to show for their efforts as we were 4 minutes away from the end of the half. Quick play in to number 24, Jaime Romero. Romero's going to backtrack, go towards the midfield into Isaac Brizuela, who had his youth career at Toluca. In fact, had 150 games at Toluca in Liga MX, where he won a Liga MX championship. Promising build-up coming here from Jordi Gomez. Pass in. The shot, ding-dong, ring-a-ling-a-lings off the post. And Crew FC with their most threatening opportunity here as we're quickly approaching the 15-minute mark. As we know, possession without purpose is futile. But Hernandez United taking advantage of the possession they have as they currently lead one of the most popular teams out of the Brazil Kings League faction by a score of 1-0. Played in just outside the box, tried to get threaded through into the needle, but no pass precision. As Hernandez United struggling to get it out of their defensive end. Tripped up from Paulo Beguer. It's going to be Hernandez United possession. The supporters are out. The drums are banging. The flags are waving. You'd imagine you would be in Estadio Azteca with the type of atmosphere that Hernandez United is bringing today. The chants as well. La Banda out in full effect here in Cary, North Carolina. Speaking of Cary, North Carolina, the only host of the TST tournament, and with a recent $7 million, near $7 million investment from the state of North Carolina towards the city of Cary, the TST is going to be hanging out around here for a couple more years. The economic impact this tournament has had alone has been impressive. Nearly $24 million since 2024 has come through this city since 2024, as I said, since this tournament began. And last year alone was one of the most successful seasons ever, with about 15 or so million coming back to the community. Hence the $7 million investment, which if you think about it is not a bad investment for what you're getting out of it. And Wake Med Soccer Park, the home of the NWSL's NC Courage, has been a gracious host and an excellent partner in helping expand this TST tournament. About a minute away from the end of the first half, Hernandez United still hangs on to this lead as they get possession back, making a run towards the box, but an errant pass to no one and nearly an unforced turnover. But the red, white, and blue of Richmond, Virginia kept it in play, and that's going to be a foul going against Crew. 30 seconds now, potentially for that extra insurance. As the pass comes back to Ramirez. Ramirez to his right. Some upfront pressure by Crew, but taken away by Facu Romero. And are we going to see a tarjeta? Yes, in fact, we do. First yellow card of the game assessed to Hernandez United. As we see Romero on the pitch. Quickly works himself up. So while the clock may hit 18 as a result of the foul moments ago, we're going to play on just for a couple seconds longer. The floater towards the box. Headed out, and that is the end of the first half, folks. With the score 1-0 in favor of Hernandez United, Roman Ramirez would get the credit for the goal. Salvador Navarro would get the credit for the assist. We're going to step aside for about 5 or so minutes, and when we come back, we got some first-half stats for you. Plenty more to occur here at Field 2, live from Wake Med Soccer Park. You are watching the TST on YouTube. Y'all are being way too loud back over there. Totally kidding. Yeah. Oh, yeah. But, I don't know. I have a spotter on the field, too, because I've called a lot of games up here. And so that is the hardest hit that I've seen thus far. What works is I know a lot of these guys personally from the MASL. And also, like, half of them are La Bombonera from 2024. good. I didn't get a chance to say hi to Jillian Sakovits. Hi, how are you?
Hi. We're taking quick pictures.
Oh, you take your time.
Take the picture? Do you mind? Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
Cool. I just, hey.
You're monologuing, so I didn't want to bother you. Which
No, all
is,
good.
The ultimate hardest thing ever. Oh my God, the monologuing. It was great. How was this game?
I feel like we need to be all alone.
This team?
So if you just playing around,
I gotta get going.
tell your girl, take a fuck home. That's real. Stop teasing me. Stop teasing me. I can change your life so easily. I keep begging you to stay, but you're leaving me. Leaving me. Got sticks in the club.
Moments away from the start of the second half here from Field 2 at Wake Med Soccer Park in beautiful Cary, North Carolina. Let's take a look at our first half stats as you see on the screen. A surprising edge by Hernandez United as they lead when it comes to the shot total, 4 to Cruz 2. The big difference, though, being the shot on target. One shot on target, one goal. 100% conversion rate. That suits this Hernandez United team well. And looking into the stands, La Banda del Distrito is out in full effect. You'll love the fan support here as we thought Crew FC fans would be out in full droves due to their affiliation with Sergio Aguero and Messi, but people have traveled from Richmond, Virginia, which is where Hernandez United is based at, and so we welcome that support. The lone goal scorer in the first half was Roman Ramirez, assisted by Salvador Navarro, nearly 8.5 minutes into the first half. So things are going to get really interesting here. Crew FC has already tasted defeat, losing to Kings League All-Stars. Hernandez United, on the other hand, has no blemishes in terms of their record. They are a perfect 3-0 and looking to really put it to the massive esports organization that is Crew FC, that is once again co-owned by Sergio Aguero and some guy named Lionel Messi that you might have heard of. Right out of the gates, Crew FC trying to mount an attack, but Hernandez United's defense has been stifling throughout the course of this entire matchup. They do manage to retain possession as Edgar Perez gets it into play. I do credit the designer of the goalkeeper kit for Crew FC. I am a big fan of the color pink. Hernandez United looking to mount another attack here. Now with that Talacha style of soccer, that was Porch that was mounting an attack. And a goal! Que golazo, Hernandez United. Leo Espinosa, former Chilean pro and former member of the Empire Strikers and the Baltimore Blast, puts Hernandez United up by a score of 2-0. We got a taste of Leo in the indoor rankings as he had 9 goals over the course of a half a dozen games with a team called the Empire Strikers out of Southern California. Had a short career playing in the top flight in Chile, and he etches his name here onto the stat sheet.
Of the second half, and Hernandez United takes a 2-0 lead over Crew FC.
And Crew FC, bewildered by the attack of this Talacha-based team out of Richmond, Virginia. One of many of the beautiful aspects of this tournament is the fact that you could get global superstars competing against players that are relative unknowns, and the domination can occur time after time after time again. And this would be a big surprise, as not a lot of people are familiar with Hernandez United, but the experience that a lot of the La Bombonera players bring onto this team really add to the value and the tenacity and to the success that Hernandez United has had throughout the course of this tournament. Romero towards the midfield, connecting with Mauricio Reyna. The floater into the box. It's intercepted. And a pump fake throw in by the goalkeeper. As Chavita, Salvador Navarro, opts to go backwards as opposed to forwards. The drums are blaring, the flags are waving. La Banda El Distrito, once again, just want to shout them out, adding some extra vibes and some extra energy that we have not seen in the last couple of days at TST. The chants, the singing, it really does feel like we are at Estadio Azteca. As the Voigt ball sails into the stands, and that's going to give us the opportunity to plug that in. Voigt, the official ball supplier of the TST, 100-year history, made in Los Angeles, but perfected in Mexico. And if you want to pick yourself up a Voigt ball, head on over to soccer.com, not only for a Voigt ball, but for plenty of the incredible kits that a lot of these TST teams are wearing. Whether you're a fan of Gene Fit, Reggae Rovers, Solo FC, head on over to soccer.com. Hernandez United looking to build out of the back. As an errant pass goes into Faoud El Amrani. And Crew being very casual in their approach of breaking out of their defensive end of the pitch. Subs coming in, and for those unaware, maximum of 3 subs can be in the box, but obviously unlimited subs can come onto the field. Near goal attempt, not an equalizer, obviously, as Hernandez United leads 2-0. What an eye-opener for those just tuning in. We've already seen the defending champs get dethroned by quick goal yesterday. Bumpy Pitch will not be able to defend their title. Other big clubs, Gene Fit just recently lost as well. So the path towards $1 million becomes more clearer, but the competition gets more stiffer. Coming out of the group stages is one thing. Making it to the round of 32 another. Coming through to the round of 16, there is no team that does not belong here. Facu Romero, his attempt to flex, well, towards the other pitch of this partition here, the home of the NWSL's NC Courage. Some of the most beautifully manicured grass that I've seen in quite some time. Pass goes into the right, as poked away, though, by Torres. Ivan Torres recovers possession for Crew. Can they mount any kind of attack? Crew FC only has 2 shots to show for their efforts. This pass comes back to the keeper, keeping it in play, elevating into the stratosphere. The header from Jordi Gomez. With the Hernandez United player down, a missed opportunity to go on a pretty brilliant counter. And how they've been threading the needle and maintaining possession has been the stuff of legend. Drawing a foul. There you can see the talent that both of these teams display. As there is a player down just by the touchline. I believe it is Campari. Campari, who does play in Kings League Mexico with Crew FC. A lot of these players do compete on that stage. The winner of the Kings League Brazil was Decimpane, beating Kelvin Oliveira's G3X in what was a very entertaining Kings League final in Brazil. And if you haven't seen the highlights, I highly recommend it. Like TST, another league that takes the traditional soccer rules manuscript and tears it to shreds while lighting it on fire in the process. Free kick opportunity on deck for Hernandez United, and a goal! Que golazo, Luisinho, Luis Sanchez. 3-0 Hernandez.
Hernandez United.
Right off of the set piece, Luisinho
Number 24.
firing it in past
Romero.
Edgar Perez. And eyes are open all around the world
Minute of the second half to make it
as
a 3-0
Hernandez
lead in
United
favor
is
of
taking a
Hernandez
commanding 3-0 lead. At the 8-minute mark, and Crew FC needs to display a bit of urgency as they find themselves in a position to be potentially upset. But that wouldn't be what people from Richmond, Virginia are thinking, because they feel confident about their squad. They brought the drums, they brought the flags, they brought La Banda to carry North Carolina. While that might be not such a long trip, impressive nonetheless. Ball is loose, and what a save! As the lead still stays at 3, approaching the halfway mark here in the second half. Eyebrows are raised. Hernandez United leads. What a game it's been. And that's going to be a foul on Mauricio Reyna. Quickly played in. Hernandez United momentarily had numbers. It's Chad Porch wisely reset. Chad Porch, also on that 24 La Bombonera team. It's a newcomer of the year in the Major Arena Soccer League with the Baltimore Blast. In his 2 years playing MASL, Porch 43 goals and 18 assists. Also competed in USL League 2, the NPSL, and the USL. Time favoring Hernandez United. The header back into the hands of Edgar Perez. Perez, a Venezuelan international, 4-time Copa Sudamerica participant. Played in the Ballers League with Miami, with Club 360. Taken back by the Crew out of Richmond. Richmond. Frieri. Over to a name many of y'all are be familiar with, Mauro Zarate. Both sides heading to their respective benches. As it gets played into Charita, Salvador Navarro, who has imprinted his name in this contest as well with that assist to Roman Ramirez to open up the scoring line for Hernandez. Taken away, and it is Romero. And Crew FC just seems completely discombobulated when it comes to trying to string together some passes. Completely shell-shocked by the onslaught that has been the Hernandez United attack. Eleven and a half minutes in to the second half. Is there a fourth goal potentially on deck? Contact in the box. No whistle. Counterattack opportunity here for Crew. This could be the moment where they strike. And they do. A successful 2-on-1 counterattack opportunity, and Crew FC score courtesy of a goal by Federico Frieri.
Scored by number 16.
We highlighted him earlier in the first half, the co-founder of Diabetes in Motion.
That goal coming in the 12th minute of the second
So
half.
now that completely changes
Hernandez United
the shape of
leads
this
by a
game.
score of 3-1 over Crew FC.
But a whistle gets called. And Campari not happy as he makes his motion towards the official.
Yellow card issued to the Hernandez United bench.
So, Isaac Brizuela, pardon me, the bench gets the yellow card. Seen that a couple of times. If the bench gets a red, does that mean the rest of the team can't play? Sensible question to ask if you're curious. I'm asking myself because I am. Our production staff not convinced about the sensibility of it, but I figured it was an attempt. It was a thought that was had, and I'm sure somebody out there watching this game might have had the same thought too. It's a fun thing to oscillate on, or maybe not. As the whistle gets blown. 3-1 the score here. So we're progressing forward through. Only 5 minutes away from the start of target score time, and we'll review those rules once we get into that segment of this contest. Crew FC looking to soften the hill they have to climb into more of a mound and possibly a bump. Zarate was flat-footed, not realizing that Facu Romero was right by him. There's Zarate. The bangers that he had playing with West Ham. Contact in the box, and it is. It is going to be a penalty kick for Crew FC. And that could potentially put this game on its head. While it was dominated by Hernandez, it is Mauro Zarate, formerly of Lazio, Inter Milan, West Ham, QPR, Fiorentina, Watford, Boca Juniors. A momentous occasion in which he has to imprint his name on the scoreline, looking to chip into this lead, 3-1. Will it be Zarate? Will it be the keeper Ramirez for Hernandez United? The nervous ticks are out in full effect. It's waiting for the official to blow the whistle. Mauro! Bottom left corner where the dust mites dwell, and Zarate scores the second goal for Crew FC.
Number 10, Mauro Zarate.
As he has done time and time throughout his career, a flair for the dramatics.
To make this a 3-2 game.
3-2. Espinosa being very physical with Torres, Ivan Torres, as he tries to keep it in play. That's going to come off the touchline. Going to stay on this end. And a soft pass telegraphed. Beguer intercepts. Crew FC looking for an equalizer. Dispossessed by Hernandez United. Nearly panned or nutmegged. Oh, bodied off the ball. No whistle. Both teams playing aggressively here as they're playing for a sensible reason. Is it competitive spirit? Is it North Carolina domination? Or is it a big bag of money? How big? 7 figures big. What a dribble through the defense. And a late whistle by the official. So we are under 90 seconds. As we hear Journey's Don't Stop Believin', the same can be said to both of these teams competing here on pitch number 2. Those $1 million hopes and those caviar wishes and champagne dreams, very much alive. Hernandez United took a quick 3-0 lead, and Crew FC have valiantly battled back. Ball is loose. Ping-ponged around between both squads. Into the midfield of Hernandez. They're going to opt to go back to their keeper. Are they confident enough to take on this Crew FC team that has the momentum in their favor as we are quickly approaching target score time? Played in on the right. Floated towards El Amrani. Excellent touch. Those unaware, touches like that, I mean, that's world class. Campari, he's going to fire it in and loft it right into the stands, where a lucky fan just misses their chance of catching the white ball, and the official blows their whistle, indicating that that is the end of regulation. And we now head into target score time. Many of you that have tuned into this tournament are very well aware of the rules of target score time, but we never want to assume that everybody is full aware, and that's what we're here to do. Inform, educate, and entertain. So the way it works is the target score in this case will be 4. It is Hernandez's tally plus 1. The team that scores 4 wins. For Hernandez United, 1 goal, and they walk away from here into the next round. For Crew FC, they need to battle back and score 2 more in order to walk off this pitch victorious. Both teams begin 7v7. If after 3 minutes, no team has established the target score time, a player from each side gets removed, and then we go from 7v7 to 6v6. If the same thing occurs and target score has not been hit, another player will be taken out, and so on and so forth. Never will there be a scenario where there's less than 2v2 on the field. And as we saw earlier this morning in the contest between Pumas and Soccer Central, that 2v2 can occur. In fact, that 2v2 that we saw was nearly as long as regulation. Now, an important rule that has come across here in 2026 at TST is what's known as the backfield violation rule. A team has 15 seconds to get the ball out of their defensive end. Once the ball crosses midfield, it cannot be kicked backwards intentionally into their defensive end. Basically, no stalling, as it will result in a change of possession, and that change of possession will occur at the spot of the infraction. We saw in the game with Hoosier Army where Tommy Thompson belted one further along on his defensive end of the field, and that's what caused a set-piece opportunity for the 6'10 to come back and battle it out. So it was determined that last year, 32% of the target score times games found their way into 2v2, which is why this rule came into full effect. Not wanting to be known loosely as the Newtown rule, but Newtown, the team that won the inaugural TST in 2023, used it to their advantage, milking as much time off the clock, looking to bait the opposition into making a play, and Newtown beating them on the counter. It worked in 2023, and it even worked for head coach Anu Obasi in the MESL last year, where he took the Empire Strikers, a team that had been struggling to make the playoffs, into the postseason. From there, he would be awarded Coach of the Year till the rest of the league caught on. So, an interpretation of the rules, and now those rules have changed and been altered to help these games progress quicker and to move forward faster. So before we get into target score time, let's look at the stats real quick. 8 shots for Hernandez United, 3 on goal. Crew, 6 with 3. We can do the math on the conversion rates. But all that is philosophy, because what matters is what happens right now. Will Crew progress into the next round? Or will Hernandez United delight all of their fans, delight La Banda El Distrito, as they made the trek from Richmond, Virginia, to cheer on their team in the hopes of those champagne wishes and caviar dreams?
It's 7-on-7 in target score time.
If you've got a nervous tick that you were unaware of prior to today, start paying attention to your body, because I know many of you are tapping your feet, biting your nails, perhaps in a more disgusting sense, chomping on your cuticles. Either way, the target score is 4, and who's going to step into that proverbial phone booth? Who's going to put on the Superman cape? Are there phone booths in existence anymore anywhere?
That's a backfield violation.
We shall soon see. Backfield violation, we just talked about it. Mistakes can be costly.
Pardon that free
this point in the contest, at this point in the game. $1 million on the line. Be interesting to hear what the math would be. Every missed pass, every errant turnover, every backfield violation, how much that costs the people making the mistakes. And Hernandez United, just outside the box, have an opportunity here. There was a song stating this is where legends are made. Let's see. Jaime Romero gets leveled to the ground, picked right back up by Campari towards the midfield into Ivan Torres. Torres gets it into Campari. Campari gets dispossessed. But look at the defense by Zarate, preventing Jaime Romero from going off to the races. Not sure if you could hear it through the speakers or through the systems, but La Banda creating a very pleasant atmosphere that I can't say we've seen at TST. Ivan Munoz, the attempt sails just above the crossbar. Porch was looking for a deflection, thinking that it was going to stay on this end. The official says otherwise. It's now Crew possession with under a minute to go in the 7v7. And it bounces directly into Ivan Munoz. Goes by the nickname Terry. Had himself a stint with the Chihuahua Savage in the Major Arena Soccer League. The run in by Hernandez, and that one sails into the stands as well. And it is Luisinho, who has scored this afternoon already for Hernandez United. Pass poked into the midfield. Recovered by the white, red, and blue. And on the far corner. Hernandez now resets, reassesses, and looks to readdress their attack. Elevated into the sky. What a touch by Hernandez United's captain. Number 21, Luis Sanchez. Bodied off the ball. Official says play on. The counter ineffective. Hernandez United with space to operate. And it just hits the side netting. And the official blows the whistle, indicating that 3 minutes of target score time have expired. So one player comes off. Now we are at from 7v7 to 6v6. Set it a time or two. The only place where real estate starts to become abundant is here in Cary, North Carolina at TST. Crew building from their midfield, stringing together some successful consecutive passes. Pass up top, moment of clarity, no, deflected. It's Facu Romero. Chad Porch with the defense as he regains possession. Former MSL Newcomer of the Year. Leveled was Abraham Riestra. Porch just outside the box. Chad, who knows how to succeed here at TST. He's done it before. He along with 5 of his teammates. And that is part of the diversity of this Talacha culture. Like I said, Pumas de Alabama, Talacha team mainly with players from Mexico. In the case of Hernandez United, a very diverse crew utilizing Talacha-style players from across the U.S., Mexico, wherever they can find players that can help them win, which is why they've been successful in a lot of these underground tournaments. Luisinho. The back heel. The turnaround. The goal! Game winner! Hernandez United upsets Crew. And the goal courtesy of Roman Ramirez. The drums from La Banda are electrifying. as the Crew from Richmond, Virginia gets to celebrate with their squad, they move on to the next round. Crew FC, after being down 3-0, valiantly fought back. But in the end, it would be Roman Ramirez getting his second goal of the game that would propel Hernandez to the next round. Excellent game. That Golden Fleece enables Ramirez to be a lifelong spectator here at TST and TBT. Golden Fleece, for you wondering, is a scarf. Your final stats here before we kick things out. Well, let's just go to the finals. No, your final stats. Hernandez, 11 shots with 3 on goal. Crew, 7 with 3 on target. Your final score, once again, Hernandez United 3, Crew FC 4. On behalf of myself, Christian Filliman, thank you so much for tuning in to TST. Still so much more action to be had. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Fort Lauderdale Strikers at 2 p.m. For family and friends that could not make it here today, let them know that they can catch that game on NBC and